it's a little bit of a rainy day in Santa Luz in late April. Can you imagine? We don't mind the rain. We can turn down our sprinklers and stop using some of that expensive San Diego water. But it does give us an opportunity to be inside, catch up on a few chores. And one of the things that I wanted to do was talk to you about these helmets. I've mentioned in the past on my blogs, at all the gear, all the time. And any gear outfitting, obviously, an important component of is the helmet that you wear. So I want to talk about these in kind of a rising expense format and talk a little bit about helmets in general. In general, helmets are designed to keep you safe, obviously, that's the #1 mission. But just like an automobile whose main mission is to get you from here to somewhere else, they all will do that. They all do that basic remit. But there are a lot of reasons for choosing various models and a lot of design aspects that appeal to you or don't appeal to you. And of course, that elusive prettiness index. We'd like them to look well at the same time. So the design of these helmets is made so that the outer shell, the shell itself, takes the force of any impact, disperses it, allows it to be absorbed over a period of time, even though that's measured perhaps in sub-seconds, and keep it from impacting our own craniums. We have to take that on faith, as a matter of fact, because we cannot independently test that. There are two main agencies in the United States that we use for testing: DOT, Department of Transportation. I hope you can see it in that helmet there, and Snell. Snell is primarily an automobile racing type designation, but they both do the same thing. And it's not uncommon, it's not particularly common, but it's not uncommon for helmets to carry both approvals. Going through these in the order, as I mentioned, of sort of an expense level, we'll start with this one. This is called a half face or an open face helmet. And it's meant to be a little retro looking, a little cafe racer-ish looking. It's by a company called Street and Steel, which is an OEM to a well-known countrywide retailer called Cycle Gear. In this case, it's lightweight. It's very lightweight. And it has the need for whoever uses it to wear goggles or sunglasses over the top of it. I do not personally take this helmet outside of the Santa Luz compound. I don't believe that these are as safe as the full-face type helmets. And I should note that there is a lobby out there that feels they should have the right to choose whether or not they wear a helmet of any type. I would say that perhaps a better name for them is the right to be a paraplegic at your expense or state expense. And I suppose that's enough of an editorial by me on that. In other words, I do not believe in that at all. I think if you're on a bicycle, you should wear a helmet. Probably should wear them serving. There's any number of endeavors that a helmet protects your head. After all, the injuries there can not only be immediately life-threatening, but the far-term, far-reaching consequences of a head injury can be very devastating. So I do believe in helmets. I would not sign any petition that says, give me the choice to not wear a helmet. So I've said, half helmet, kind of nice looking, I think, in an old-fashioned retro sort of way, pretty macho. And I don't wear it outside of the compound here at Santa Luz. Let's shift over to the other side and talk about next helmet up, which is by a company called Bell. Good old US of A. I've had many Bells over the years, used them in race cars, used them in motorcycles in the past, and I think this one does pass the prettiness index. I love the graphics on it. Interesting aspect of this particular helmet, full face, you'll notice, is that this face shield is called a transition face shield. This will, just like some sunglasses you may have had in the past, will transition from a clear to a more opaque aspect directly in regards to the sun. So you don't have to carry an extra pair of sunglasses or even an extra face shield and change that out depending upon how sunny the day is. The shield actually does that. Pretty cool technology. The helmet, you'll notice, is very aerodynamically shaped, so it does slice through the air well. There's very little buffeting with this helmet, which is a great attribute. That can add a lot to rider fatigue. It's also well vented. There's vents in the front and vents over the forehead and even vents up in here. There are exhaust outlets back here, idea being that you'll get airflow through the helmet and that will help cool you, particularly on the warm California days we have. Drawback to this helmet is that it is pretty noisy. I think it has to do with all those vents. That's an opinion. I can't prove or disprove that. It is pretty noisy. You get a lot of wind noise in this helmet. I think it satisfies one of the things that we want to have with a helmet, and that is that it should be very visible. You want a motorist to look over and see the helmet, see the rider, and react and say, oh, there's somebody there. I need to be conscious of their space, give them room on the road. And I think this helmet satisfies it. And I think it looks pretty nice. And I must admit, I have a little bit of a soft spot for Bell and their products. And I've been involved with them for a long time. Went to the Ferrari factory and they had Bell helmets there dating back to the 1950s, 1960s. Pretty cool to think that helmets coming out of California were racing across the continent back in that era of men in polo shirts driving very powerful race cars. Second one up, again moving through the expense profile, is by a Japanese company called Arai. This one, in terms of the graphics, is my favorite, and I think you'll agree. I like this. Being of Irish heritage, so I'm told. I love the shamrock design on the side. Maybe it'll bring a little luck, who knows. And there's a leprechaun who's found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow on the back of it. I think it's pretty cool, designed with some of the Irish colors on it. So prettiness index, I think this one kind of tops the group that are here. Not that any of the others are bad looking, I just think this one is kind of unique. I've had other riders stop me and say, hey, that's a cool looking helmet. Something they don't do very often. Well vented, well vented. We have vents here in the front, we have a brow vent here, vent on the top, and we have an exhaust vent in the back. Arai believes that the more round shape is, these are designed to snap away and come off very quickly in terms of any kind of an impact. But they believe the more round shape is, the more safe the helmet might be in an impact in terms of scraping along and catching on something. That's their particular design philosophy. Must be something to it. They've been in business for a good number of years. They're well respected. They make Formula One helmets. So does Bell, and so does Shoei, as a matter of fact. However, there's a drawback to that round shape, and that is this helmet buffets. This gets buffeting in wind, and what do you get when you push yourself through the air at about 50, 60 miles an hour? You get wind. So this helmet will get quite a bit of buffeting, which can get tiring over a period of time. So that's the drawback. That's the drawback to it. There's no, the old famous saying, there's no free lunch, and there certainly isn't in the case of these motorcycle helmets. Last one is by a company called Shoei, again from Japan, and this one you'll note is very aerodynamically shaped. It also is well vented, and one of the unique design aspects here is that this helmet actually has a drop-down sun shield. So if I hold this up to the camera, hopefully you can see it, but I can drop that sun shield down and raise it up. I can even do it with a glove on, and I can do it as I'm riding along. It's on the left side, so it doesn't interfere with my throttle finger, but that is pretty nice. Again, like the Bell with the transitions, you don't need to carry an extra face shield, and you can forget about having to stop and pull out your sunglasses and put them on under the helmet, which is not bad in terms of overall usability. Again, very pretty helmet. I like the graphics. My Girl Scout cookie sticker, I put it on the back. I stopped some Girl Scouts and bought some cookies from them on the machine. They thought that was pretty cool. So, and I thought it was a lot of fun. So, This helmet is also the quietest in this lineup. When you button this up, this one is the quietest and has the least amount of wind buffeting. It is the drawback here, if there is one overall to this helmet, the drawback here is that it's relatively heavy and it's a little longer back to front. So you need to do that to accommodate that drop-down sun visor on the inside. It also is not as well vented as the Arai or the Bell. So in terms of motorcycle helmets, just like everything else, there is no free lunch. By the way, these little extensions I've got sticking out of some of these helmets we'll cover later on, but it's for the Bluetooth communication system that I can attach to any of them. And I can move that main unit around amongst the various helmets, and they'll all adapt to it. So there you have it. A few moments of motorcycle helmets, my opinion of them, how they got that way, some of the ones that I use, and what I think of the various aspects of the design and the engineering, and a little bit of fun, kind of a dive deep into the gear. We're going to cover other parts of my gear later on. I'll share that with you. It'll be a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll put one of these helmets on and go for a ride. Maybe we can give you a taste of what it is like out there on the